So running a business can be a never-ending road of zigzags, wrong turns, and the odd car crash. Take my word. However, those wrong turns are often lessons learned, making you rethink your plans, your ideas, your strategies, or maybe even your entire business altogether. Well, to save you time, I'm going to be sharing the key things that I'm changing in my 10-year-old video agency to make you avoid the same mistakes. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about marketing, growing your business, mindset as a business owner, and creating systems and processes to ensure consistent cash flow and profits. If that sounds helpful, make sure to hit subscribe because we make plenty of videos like this on a weekly basis. First up is marketing, and there's been a big change here, and let me explain why. The big change is making sure that we are consistent with our marketing, because the average marketing return delay can be anywhere between 6 to 9 months for most businesses. For service-based businesses like ourselves, it can take a few months to get a client to actually sign up, get them over the line, a few months to get the project turned around and signed off, and a few months normally to get the invoice paid as well. For us, our average start to payment date is actually 7 months. And if you take that 7 months and then assume you have 3, 6, maybe even 9 months at the start before your marketing actually works, you can see the importance of consistent marketing all year round so that you have leads and inquiries coming into your business all year round. So here's the deal. We've put more effort than ever before into our marketing to ensure that we are consistent. We've got a brand new website. We're working on case studies, testimonials showing behind the scenes, and even a referral program to ensure really good, strong word of mouth marketing. That has been working amazingly well. But we're not just marketing Affinity Media as Affinity Media and an agency. We're actually focusing on personal brand, and that is where this channel comes in. I want to show my expertise and experience as a business owner, but also as someone who is a content creator building brands and businesses online. I know that we're growing much more than just a marketing agency, and being able to show that we specialize in the very thing we say we specialize in is massively important. Leading by example, and as a result, showing our conversions increase massively. And this is the important bit. All of that marketing, all of that content is starting to show us and myself as being the absolute experts in the field. This means when we have people get in touch and jumping on a call, they're not asking us how do we compare to other video agencies. They're asking what they need to do to be able to work with us. And that is a game changer. And that moves me on to my second big change, which is actually red flags and not ignoring them. Now, this section is going to feel like a little bit of a rant, and maybe it is, but one of the main reasons we wanted to focus on marketing was to make sure we're getting the ideal clients, because quite frankly, too much of my time has been wasted with absolutely awful clients, awful businesses, and awful human beings. Being brutally honest, overall, they'll have been a nightmare to work with, either on the actual project, taking months to pay their invoices, or maybe it's just not paying their invoices at all. As a side note, you'll always have people get in touch who are not your ideal customers or your ideal customer base. There's nothing wrong with that, and your marketing ideally wants to kind of reject those people as much as it entices the right types of clients. However, if we do have someone get in touch and we are not the right fit for them, we will absolutely recommend freelancers, other agencies, whatever it takes to make sure that that person is well looked after. And they massively appreciate that. That's not who I'm talking about though. I'm talking about the people that present all of the world's biggest red flags that you'll most often ignore. The chances are that you'll spot the red flags from the beginning. And if you're anything like me and at a point where you are desperate to try and get money in, you will ignore those red flags and you will absolutely regret it later on. To name a few of those red flags, the things that we're now looking out for are people who absolutely demand the world and maybe don't have the budget to suit. The business owner themselves, are they actually a nice human being? Do they slag people off behind their backs? Do they talk to you negatively about other videographers or agencies they've worked with? Chances are they'll talk about you the exact same way. Take a look at the business itself. Is it an established brand? Look at their socials. Does it still look good? As much as they're coming to us for marketing help, you can really see when someone respects their own business and really puts in a lot of care, effort, and energy. All of these things will give you an insight into what they're going to be like to work with. The biggest change that I'm making now, if I see one of those red flags, I am immediately refusing to work with you, or I'm putting a few more steps in place before you're going to be able to work with us. In a sense, I'm making people prove themselves as a business owner or a business that we are indeed the right fit. Now, that's not making people jump through hoops for the sake of it, but more so on my side, asking more questions, a bit more about the business owner, a bit more about the business and what they're expecting from, in our case, their marketing and their videos. Anyone who's expecting viral results in their marketing or immediate sales and money in their bank from the following week, they are the red flags. If I hear anything like that, chances are I'm not going to work with you. One of the next big things that I want to change is systems and processes. And this is more an improvement rather than it is a change. You see, a house is only as good as the foundations it is built on, a very popular saying, and a business is only as good as the systems and processes in which it is built on. Over the past 5-10 years of running my video business, I often found that all the different types of clients that got in touch often got a very different service. The product that they got at the end was always great, in my opinion, and in theirs, in terms of a video, but the process, how I actually quoted them, how we delivered the video, did we send it on email, did we send it on Dropbox, did we send the quotes through QuickBooks, did we send them it on WhatsApp? So many different ways of doing things, and every time that I went to do a task, I approached it completely differently. Now we want to aim to have systems and processes for every corner of our workflow and every task within that. This not only ensures that the client gets a better service, a better result, it also means that from our side, we are running things so much smoother. It's less stressful, it's more organized, and in terms of cash flow, we're able to keep an eye on things so much better, knowing where things are in the process, how much time things have taken. This one isn't as much of a massive change as it is just continuous improvement. For example, our contracts as a business are always changing with every project that we do. There might be something that trips us up or the client up. There might be something that we've forgotten to include, whether it's revisions, whether it's specifics of those revisions. All of those things just constantly add to those contracts with each project that we do. And the same goes for systems and processes. A good way to measure this for yourself, if you find yourself doing the same task multiple times, but in multiple different ways, chances are you need a system. This is also crucially important when it comes to employing staff, having team members, to make sure everyone's running things the same way. If anyone needs to jump in, cover them, they're going to know where they are, they're going to know how to do it. And you as a business owner or a manager are going to want to keep a very organized track of everything that's going on. The final thing to say on systems and processes is it also means that you as the business owner can remove yourself if and where needed. Ultimately, you want to have a profitable business that runs or can run without you in it all the time. That is how you know you've got a very good business and one that one day you maybe could sell. The next thing that I'm changing or reframing is patience, building for the long term and not always hoping for the short term wins. When I very first started freelancing, life as a business owner or a freelancer was just short term everything. Try and get a job in, try and get paid. Try and get a job in, try and get paid. That was all that you were trying to do week on week, month by month. There was no long term plan. As soon as I started thinking as a business owner, as soon as I started trying to build a little bit of a team that we have now, all of a sudden you're thinking in months, quarters, years, and maybe even decades. You're not thinking in days and weeks. That is a massive mindset change that every business needs to make. It'll help you with your content, with your marketing. It'll help you approach things in a longer term way. It'll help you not make rash or hash decisions, especially taking on clients that are presenting red flags. It will make you build better systems and processes that we talked about earlier, and it will also help you protect your business into the future. If you're able to think about decades ahead rather than just the next pay run, the next invoice that is due, you are going to have such a much better business. And ultimately, in terms of your mindset, you all of a sudden stop fretting the small stuff. Now, I've always had a lot of patience. I've always felt like I've been very long-term thinking, macro over micro, if we are referencing Gary Vee. In fact, he was very much who I developed this long-term patience mindset from. It's one of his sort of key things that he hammers in his content, and I'm very grateful to have consumed so much of that content very early on, because the first year, 2, 3 years of being a freelancer was incredibly tough. And how I actually stuck it out, I always say I have no idea. But the patience, the long-term thinking was what got me through it. And as we've got really difficult periods in our business, one that we're going through right now and have been through the past couple months, I know that I'm thinking decades down the line. This issue that we have right now in terms of cash flow is not a major problem. So the fifth and final thing that I'm trying to work on and improve is mindset. Now, I first of all feel like I have a pretty good, strong mindset, a mindset that I'm very happy with. And one thing that probably does get in the way a little bit can be distractions. I'm very good at ignoring the opinions of other people, very much have my ideas focused on that, but distractions can be a bit of a challenge, which is why as a business we have so many different things going on. Behind that camera is a drum kit. On this side is our office, and on that side of the office is Affinity Racing, where we do all the sim racing and all that kind of motorsport content. 3 totally separate things, all within 4 walls, and lots of different things to be focusing on. I'm very happy that we have that variety. I love the fact that we have that variety, and that is what I kind of thrive on. So purposefully, I will make sure that my days are very varied so that there is always something to look forward to, always something exciting to work on, and always something in terms of a milestone that really feels like we've progressed the business each day. The actual place in which I've felt a difference or noticed a difference in my mindset, I feel like I woke up one day and just stopped caring about anything. And I mean that in a really good, positive way. I feel like back in the day, a few years ago, if someone had commented something, for example, on a Facebook post, I'd be straight in there on the comments. I'd be straight there channeling all of my time, effort, energy into this comment. Whether it was politics, whether it was about music, someone said Iron Maiden was crap, that would ruin my day. Whether it was about motorsport or a race or someone's opinion on Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, those sort of things would really, really eat up a lot of my time and energy. And all of a sudden, one day I woke up and I just did not care. People could have a different opinion, did not care. People could enjoy different music or have voted differently in politics, do not care. And I think that has massively helped me because all of a sudden I'm now putting all of that spare time, effort and energy into the things that I really do enjoy, whether it's drums, whether it's work, whether it's Affinity Racing, and all of those really good, positive, fun things. There can still be things that ruin my day, get me really, really annoyed, especially if it's technology, which we've had a nightmare with today, trying to film this very video. But overall, knowing that in 10 years' time or 5 decades' time, when we talk about patience and thinking longer term, all of a sudden the day-to-days don't feel too bad. And whilst we focused a lot of this video in real heavy business stuff and business theory, mindset is probably one of the biggest things that I recommend trying to look at, improve, and think about progressing as much as you possibly can. With that, that is the 5 major things that I'm trying to change or have changed about my business or myself this year. I really can see the positive impact immediately on our business, especially when it comes to marketing, avoiding red flags, and ultimately see the progress that we're making through systems and processes, thinking longer term, and of course, my own mindset. So with that, I really hope that you found this video helpful, and we do deep dive into business theory and all sorts of things on this channel, as well as showing the behind the scenes of me running my business and our video agency and everything else that goes on. If all of that sounds interesting, make sure to hit subscribe. Drop any comments and questions that you may have in the comment section. I will do my very best to respond and answer them. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.